So in late November I went to Prague, and in this video I'm going to tell you about my trip. It was awesome. First of all, Prague is the capital of the Czech Republic, or Czechia. A few years ago they changed the English name for some reason, but most people still refer to it as the Czech Republic, including the people who actually live there. So that's just a little bit of confusion. Anyway, about 1.3 million people live in Prague, and 8 to 10 million people visit it every year. So Prague is far from boring. You can find pretty much something for everyone there, be it history, parties, great food and drinks, especially the beer, and other activities and curiosities. So let's begin with a summary of my trip. I used the Flixbus to get there, and as usual, for me, when a trip is going to turn out good, something really weird happens on my way there. And yes, that was also the case here, because one man on the bus was so drunk, so ridiculously drunk, that everyone began just looking at the commotion that was happening at the back of the bus. Most people went to the front of the bus because of him. One of the bus drivers went, I think, like 3 times back to the bus just to see what the hell is going on, checking on him what the hell is going, because he was like this, and then just blabbing some ridiculous things. I think it was Southern European, Slavic, one of those languages, maybe Bulgarian. He was some, I think one guy said that he was apparently Hungarian, but I didn't think that I was Hungarian. But okay, what do I know? He was just muttering weird things. And yeah, so the bus driver decided to call the police. So yes, we had a little detour. So 2 police officers came on the bus and had a little chat with the guy. First they tried to check, obviously that didn't work. And then they tried English and German, and the guy, he was so drunk he didn't even realize what was happening. He didn't realize what was happening because he was just like half comatose, like, and just chanting those weird words over and over and over again. So they began offering him cigarettes. Like, come out, let's take a smoke. And that lasted for about 5 minutes. And I did record the conversation with my smartphone. Of course, just the sound. I didn't film it. I'm not stupid to have trouble with the police. But I'll try to include a bit of it here. The audio quality isn't really good because I was like about in the middle of the bus and the guy was at the back. But warning for the bad audio quality in advance.
Nebo?
Do you speak English?
Yeah.
Deutsch. Kannst du sagen, Ihre Friends zu kommen aus the bus? Er is hier getrunken, hier in Germany.
Okay.
Now, careful with the phone. Put your phone in the pocket.
Keep your hands.
Dobro.
Okay, keep your hands, okay?
Evo.
Go down.
Okay, go.
We will go out. Smoke, okay?
Okay. We can smoke together, okay?
So, why he can, but
We need to go outside.
No.
So that was an experience. But the rest of the trip was great, I promise. So I did a lot of research before I went to the city of Prague, and I recommend everybody to do that. There are a lot of scams happening in Prague, especially when it comes to exchanging money, since the Czechs don't use the euro. So that's a lot of confusion for tourists. And when you decide to exchange money, Somewhere you should always look the Google reviews, because certain places, they simply scam you. Like right now, the Czech crown is worth, I mean, the euro is worth like 24, 25 Czech crowns or something like that. And you can find places where they will give you like 24, 23 Czech crowns for 1 euro, which is a good deal in my opinion. But there are also places where you would get only like 20 crowns, or 18 crowns, or 16 crowns for the same 1 euro. That's a scam. They are purposely preying on tourists who aren't informed and just see this exchange place, go there, don't ask any questions, get the money, and don't realize that they got scammed. But as I said, you need to do some research before you go there, and also look at the Google reviews, like 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars. Those places are good indicators that things aren't good. You should look like 4.5 stars or up, really. And also, never accept money from strangers. I didn't have this thing happening to me, but apparently there are a lot of scams happening where just random people just approach you, have like Belarusian rubles, which are completely meaningless and worthless, and they just offer you because they kind of look like Czech crowns at first glance, and they scam tourists this way. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about that. I exchanged 50 euros and the rest I've just paid with a card, because most places accept cards, and honestly this is how you should do it. So yes, you should have some physical money, but you should also use your credit card. It's going to be way easier. So back to the city of Prague. It's beautiful. There are a lot of stunning buildings there, some old, some modern, and a lot of churches, which is kind of ironic since I think like almost 90% of Prague is atheist. But they are well preserved, and of course because of that, tourist attractions. I mean, I myself am not religious, but I have to respect churches because they are really well built and are just a thing of the past which we should preserve, even if we no longer believe in those things. So yes, if you are a fan of architecture, there are a lot of things to see there. And you should definitely check out the Prague Castle, which is I think the biggest castle in the world. It's enormous. And also a Slovenian architect who did some fantastic job there. I had to hear that I think like 2-3 times when I was there with the guides. And of course I'm from Slovenia, so it was really, I mean, I knew he did a lot of things in Prague, but I kind of underestimated his work. So yes, there are also a lot of interesting statues and sculptures throughout the city. Some kind of bizarre, but then again, this is a place where Franz Kafka is from, so yeah, you should expect some rather weird things. Another must is the National Museum, which is enormous. It's way bigger than I expected. I thought that I will maybe be there for 3-4 hours, but in the end I was 6 hours there. And if I was 4 more hours there, it still wouldn't be enough to see everything. It's enormous. You should take like the whole day to see everything there. But I was sadly a little bit under time pressure, so I couldn't afford to see everything in detail. I went through everything, but I couldn't really take my time and enjoy everything. So yes, another thing with the museum, you have like you can download an app and you can have it guide in English with it. So that's really a neat thing. Personally, I advise everybody to use the same thing that I did, which is to use free tour guides. Free in quotations, because at the end of the guide you need to tip them, which is understandable. They need to get the money from somewhere, but at the end of the day I think they do a better job than those that are outright paid. I personally used the real Prague guides. I found them through YouTube because YouTube recommended me, and it was a really good decision that I checked their channel out. They have a lot of interesting videos and really fun videos at that, so you should check them out. And I also recommend them as tour guides because they are amazing. It was really fun. It was like hanging out with a group of friends, and yeah, so they get a 5 out of 5 for me. I still need to write them a good review. I forgot. Need to do that. I went with I had 4 tours with them. That's how much I enjoyed their service. So thumbs up for me. So, of course, during my trip, I went also to several restaurants and a bar, one singular bar, because most of the time when I wanted to drink something, I just went to a restaurant, ate and drank at there. But oh well. So I will also review the places where I went. But first, let's get the elephant out of the room. If you go to Prague, you will notice one thing. There are turdelnik stands everywhere. Like every 20 meters is one. And the turdelnik is like this hollow sweet bread that sometimes can be filled with something, but overall it just looks interesting. It's hollow. It's overrated. It really is overrated. And it's not even Czech. That's the thing that bothered me the most, because this thing is not even that Czech. I think it's Hungarian. But yes, this thing spread like crazy in the last years over the Czech Republic, and it even got here to Slovenia. Like I've seen turdelnik stands here, but they are called kurtuš here. So yes, kurtuš stands are also increasingly common in Slovenia for some reason. But yeah, I mean, if you want to try, fine, try one. But personally, I would recommend to go to a pastry shop and get yourself some kolač, because those things are amazing. They have several fillings, which can be like cream cheese, fruits, poppy seeds. There are a lot of them. There really are a lot of them. And they are also cheaper than turdelnik from what I've seen. And they are actually Czech. And they are amazing. They tasted really, they were amazing. So I will certainly make them myself at home. So anyway, now back to the restaurants. The first one I will say is Maitreya, I think. I will blend the name in. I'm not sure if I pronounce this correctly, but it's a vegetarian restaurant. I'm vegetarian myself, so of course I looked at places that offer vegetarian food. But this one was vegetarian by itself, so I just went by and saw it and said, why not give it a try? And it's also located very close to the old town square. They have a good selection of different dishes from all over the world, and the food was very good. The prices were slightly higher, but not really that high, considering that this is right next to the old town square, so it's expected to be a little bit more expensive, but still way cheaper than all these things that you can buy right directly at the square, because those are some massive tourist traps, and for some reason a lot of people go there, even though you will pay like 8 euros for a beer or something like that. Are you insane? So another one is Vegans, a vegan restaurant, as you can tell by the name. And this one is quite interesting because you have to walk up the stairs in a building where you just see the name there, and you have this little bit strange entrance. You would never expect that there will be a restaurant up there, but it was really amazing. And also the restaurant is way bigger than you would expect when you just see the stairs, because it looks like you would go to somebody's apartment. But anyways, yeah, I heard a lot of good things about this restaurant, and those good things were actually from people who aren't even vegetarian or vegan, and if they praise the food, then that's quite a good indicator that these people know what they are doing. Because with vegan food, sometimes it's so, they try way too hard to just imitate the look of something, but then the texture is kind of meh, and the taste is normally, yeah, down there. But this wasn't the case here. The food was actually amazing. It was really 5 out of 5. And they also veganized some typical Czech dishes, which contain meat normally, but the meat is not like the main focus of it. An example of this is svičkova, which was really good there. It was really amazing. You should definitely try it out, even if you're not vegetarian or vegan. It's a good thing to try out. Although Some guests there were a little bit weird. Like the staff was incredibly nice, but there were like two tourists from the US, of course from Austin. I mean, the only other place when you can find people that are so opinionated is probably from California. But anyway, of course, the conversation was at first completely normal, small talk as was typical for Americans. But then they just started to talk how they need to make legislations and outright ban meat and dairy products and everything. I was like, it went like from this place to that place in like 2 sentences. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, normally some things like this, hot takes like this, you see online. But in real life, it was kind of weird hearing people like that, and in a restaurant. I don't get it. Right next to them was a German family, and they muttered like a few sentences throughout the whole meal. But those two, they would just keep on blabbing and blabbing. I don't get the American small talk, but I don't think that anybody in Europe really gets it. We don't talk that much. Oh well. So yeah, maybe I will keep the vegan rant for another video. Maybe I'm vegetarian, but some of the hot takes they have, yeah, I don't want to be associated with those people. Then another restaurant is called Ufleko, which has the oldest surviving brewery in Prague. So the beer is the main attraction there. They also have some really good food, and it's packed there, especially by German tourists. It's like you would go to Oktoberfest. And it's not a good pick if you want a quiet place and just for yourself, because that's not what you're going to get there. There are a lot of tourists there. And yes, as I said, most are German. The ones that I was with there at the same table were from Denmark. But overall, it was a good place to drink a lot of good beer. And also I ate those fried cheeses that are really popular in the Czech Republic. We also have them here in Slovenia, so that wasn't something new, but the Czechs are crazy about them. We only eat them occasionally. But it's basically the same thing. Fried cheese with tartar sauce and fries. Really good. Then I also went to a novelty restaurant called OMG Restaurant, which is a Japanese restaurant. But it's not really that typical of Japanese. It's basically targeting those who love anime, and I love anime. When I saw this, I was like, oh my god, is this a real place? Is this just a tourist trap? No, it's not really a tourist trap, but it's really quite a unique restaurant. And yeah, when I saw that they have like little pictures even of Detective Conan at the front, I was like, I need to visit this. I need to visit this place. Sadly, the inside didn't include that much Detective Conan. It was mostly One Piece, which I really like. Naruto, which I think it's overrated, but oh well, people have different opinions. And also think there were like things from Gilbey Studios. But yeah, let's just say, if you like Japanese animation, you will like this restaurant. And the food was for the most part quite good. I made a little bit of a mistake in ordering spring rolls with fresh vegetables, because one guy told me that I should do that because apparently chopped up mangoes and carrots, fresh chopped up carrots and mangoes, yeah. Apparently, if you roll them into spring roll and dip them into the sauce, they taste kind of different, and even those people who normally don't like them will like this. I was like, okay, let's give this a try. And I dipped it there, and I took a bite of it, and it was, yeah, chopped carrots and mangoes. I'm not a fan of either. It's not like I would outright hate them like I do with peas, but no. But anyway, it was probably for the better that I ate that, because even though it wasn't that tasty, it was a mistake on my part, because why did I order something that's made out of ingredients I don't like? So I'm not blaming the restaurant by any means. But it was also probably good for my digestion, because I ate a lot of pastry and things that contain starch, so that was really a nice change of food for me. But this one thing that I definitely recommend if you go there, order the lychee tea. That thing is amazing. I could drink that the whole day. that was really 5 out of 5. Probably one of the best things I ever drank. Really, it's that amazing. And another thing I need to ask myself is, do they have the permission to use all of these anime characters in the restaurant? I highly doubt it. But then again, I don't care. It was just kind of interesting to see this. Overall, it's, I would say, 4 out of 5. You should give it a try. It's not too expensive. And maybe because I'm a vegetarian, I didn't have that many options. So if you eat everything, if you're an omnivore, sure, give it a try. You will have a way bigger selection than I had. But it's still a nice kind of novelty restaurant. And it was really interesting seeing something like this in real life. I don't know, in my country we didn't have anything like this. And then there's also the farmers market, which happens every Saturday, and I did visit it, and they sell a lot of things there, including street food. I myself tried oblužene chlebčky there, which is basically just a piece of bread with a spread or something like that on it, or an egg or something like that. And it's like a mini sandwich. It's a perfect snack, and there are also vegetarian options, and they are really good. The Czechs really did a fantastic job there. I mean, you can get similar things elsewhere, but they were really amazing. For snack food, that's amazing. And you could also buy a lot of fresh produce there, and cheeses, of course, also meat, including chicken feet. Okay, whatever floats your boat. But you can also get like things like microgreens, mushrooms, including logs with cultivated mushrooms, and so on. It's definitely worth checking out if you're in the city when it happens. And as of the bars, I didn't go to a beer bar as I said, since everywhere else they served great beer, so there was really, for me personally, no real need to go to a bar that serves beer, because in the restaurant the beer was already amazing for me. But I went to a special bar, one that is about absinthe. So Green Devils is an absinthe bar, which is a must if you want to a really unforgettable experience with a unique atmosphere. The decorations, the lights, the wall paintings, random dolls hung up in various places. It's an interesting place, and it has good absinthe on top of that, and also real absinthe, because it's very hard to get actually real absinthe, since most of what's sold as absinthe isn't actually what it claims to be. For instance, in Switzerland, it's regulated by law how much I know what can be sold as absinthe, so you get the real deal there. But elsewhere in the EU, you could basically sell Coca-Cola as absinthe. So yeah, those neon green spirits that you see in those scam shops, in those really nasty souvenir shops, which you should avoid at all costs, because those supermarkets and souvenir shops, the products are of really low quality and the prices are ridiculously high. They are tourist traps. They wouldn't survive just from the locals, because I don't think that any local even goes there and buys that crap. But okay, so back to the absinthe. The fake absinthe normally tastes like hand sanitizer, just really strong and doesn't have really any kind of good taste or flavor to it. But yeah, the real ones are quite different. In the Green Devil here, they also have a mix of both, but they tell you which is the real one. And the real one has a really specific taste of anise, wormwood, and fennel. And the taste is kind of similar to that of licorice. Now, if you hate licorice, you probably won't like absinthe. I myself don't like licorice because it just reminds me of those really nasty medicine that you eat when you don't feel well. And yeah, on normal occasions you wouldn't want your food to taste like that, but okay. People have different preferences. But the absinthe that I tried was actually quite nice. I tried a white absinthe that doesn't have the final process where it gets the green color. So I think it's called absinthe blanc or something like that. I will blend you the photos. I don't have it there right now. And the thing with absinthe, despite having like 70%, around 70% alcohol, it doesn't have a really strong alcoholic flavor. Like the taste, you wouldn't be able to tell that it has really strong alcohol in it. And so that's not a problem. Even if you like don't like liquors or stuff like that, it shouldn't be a problem because it doesn't taste like that. So yes, the one that I tried, the white one, I will blend you also the name so that you know which one I tried. That one has a really strong wormwood flavor, but a really, really mild fennel and anise flavor. I really don't like anise. And so despite me not being a fan of those flavors, it was actually quite nice for an experience. I wouldn't drink that every day or like even every week, but here and there, that wouldn't be bad. It would actually be quite interesting, because absinthe is also not something that you would just take a glass and just drink it in one go. It isn't a drink like that. You should take your time and slowly drink it, and such a bar with such an interesting atmosphere, it just goes there, like really 5 out of 5 for the experience. And you can also get like those little absinthe bottles there. You can buy them for souvenirs. I forgot to bring one here and it will take a little bit too long to get it, but I bought one. It's mostly for decorative purposes because it doesn't really have that much absinthe in it, but it is the real deal, and it's also good if you want to bring souvenirs home. So yes, Green Devils, I definitely recommend that. So yes, speaking of souvenirs, I got myself a lot of things, including like candies and chocolates from the Czech Republic. I really like to buy that whenever I go to a different country and bring them home, because most of the stuff you cannot get here. And my personal favorite is Fidorka. This thing, like I have like 3 different flavors: coconut, hazelnut, and white chocolate. And my personal favorite is the coconut one. It's like a wafer chocolate, round wafer chocolate, which is amazing. Like I could eat this all the time. Like I could get addicted to this. It's so good. And yes, the other things that I got were some Kurtek plushies. Kurtek, which means little mole, is a really famous Czech cartoon character that was shown almost everywhere, except probably in the English-speaking countries, but in most of Europe it should be really known. And you can get a lot of plushies and pillows and stuff like that. Yeah, I bought a Kurtek pillow, but I no longer have it since that gift already went away. But I got myself a Pat and Matt pillow, and I also bought one from the rest of my family, because these two are like even more known than the Kurtek. These two, they are incredibly known. They are really funny. You should try watch some cartoons online, because you definitely will have a laugh. It doesn't have any dialogue, and Kurtek also doesn't have dialogue. But Kurtek is more for children, but these two really popular with kids and adults. And I mean, I will just play a little bit of the soundtrack. It's like everybody knows it here. Ayato, is this? Everybody knows this here. So you definitely should check that out. But yeah, probably, I don't know, were they shown in the English speaking world? I need to check that. They will definitely shown in many places. I know that, but I'm not sure if they were ever shown in the US or the UK. Maybe in the UK, but I don't think they were shown in the US. They kind of have a tendency to not show anything that was made elsewhere, except for some anime, and even that needed a lot of time to be accepted. Oh well. So yes, that was my trip to Prague. I enjoyed it, and I recommend this city. It was really awesome.